list of breakages and retirements keeps growing. In the Imoca class, Metrocoque 5 was forced to divert for repairs. We've got a big tear in the leech of the mainsail, so we've had to stop, as we can't hoist any more canvas. We stopped near Vigo and were disappointed because we were well placed, but we couldn't continue like that. It's the same mood of disappointment aboard the Class 40 Le Galet. As you can see, there's the coast behind us. We're arriving in Cascais near Lisbon to try and repair our lovely boat, which has damage to the front structure. The multi-hulls haven't been spared either. During a technical stopover, Erwan Leroux and Audrey Augereau had no choice but to retire. After a complicated start to the Transat Jacques Vabre, the competitors are finally able to switch to race mode, and with the boats cruising south, the sailors can catch their breath. The colours are magnificent, and Clément and I are taking advantage of the time to rest and do some short one-hour sessions. It's been a tough first stage, and we're really happy to be where we are today. Happy birthday! Thank you! Thanks for thinking of it, so nice. It's green light time, well blue actually, aboard Solidaire on Peloton as she heads towards the trade winds. Windows down, it's time to cruise south. Let's go, the gennakers taking us to the trade winds. 5 PM rankings in the Class 40 see IBSA in control of a shuffled fleet. Thibaut Vauchel-Camus and Kenton Vlamink are still firmly at the top of the Ocean 50 podium. CHARAL leads the way in the Imoca class. Paprec Arkéa and 4 People are slightly further east. The battle is intense in the ULTIMs too. After passing Ascension Island, Banque Populaire is now leading.
With lighter winds and progressively smoother seas, some respite has been possible for the Imoca and Class 40 fleets on the Transat Jacques Vabre Normandy Le Havre race. The leading Imoca 60-footers were reaching under gennakers about 200 miles off the Portuguese coast this afternoon, with Jéremie Beyou and Franck Cammas on Sharral holding a steady lead of around 35 nautical miles over Yoann, Richomme and Yann Eliès on Paprec Arkéa. Ahead they have a 250 miles wide ridge of high pressure and light winds to cross. Today the duos were finally catching up with rest and small repairs and making sure they refuel themselves and restore their energies for an intense, tactical 24 hours or so. When the winds are light and unsettled, it is often more demanding physically and mentally on the duos. Brit Alan Roberts on 9th places, L'Occitanie en Provence, reported this morning, "We had a few issues in the front. The lazy jacks snapped and the mainsail flakes filled up with water, and that cost us time and energy managing that, maybe 15 miles or so. But we got through. It has been tough on board, the motion is violent and the boat's slamming hard, and so it was hard to have a break or even eat food, so the energy levels really were low. But now I have got some noodles inside me. I feel so much better, and we are trying to alternate well to get some sleep when the boat is slamming so hard. You come off a wave and it goes down and your heart is in your mouth and then it stays in the same place as it comes up again. It is not very pleasant. We are on the southern option to cross this high pressure. It feels like most are doing the same. Some might tack off and try the northerly route, but I think the northerly route being pretty violent. The southerly route is more of a known factor. Beyou and Cammas have been setting the pace and today maintaining a course slightly more out to the west of Richomme and Eliès, whilst Thomas Rouillant and Morgan Lagravère have been closer to the Portuguese coast. Cammas, who has won the race 4 times on ORMA and ULTIM multihulls, but never on an Imoca, spoke early this morning. It was quite rough with cross seas. Quite hard. We had a gust of 43 knots in the first front. The worst was when we were coming out of the front with the wind shift. The important thing was getting away from the cross seas. We've been patching things up and have quite a few little jobs to do. But we are pleased with our position for the moment. It's looking a bit tricky to the south with only a narrow way through, but we don't want to have to deal with all the fronts, so we are looking at a compromise. We don't want to damage the boat, so we are thinking about that now. Quickest Imoca of the leading peloton this afternoon was Sam Goodchild and Antoine Cole, on for the Planet. They progressively rolled past Goodchild's compatriots Sam Davies and Jacques Boutel, Initiative's coeur, to take fifth place, and were chasing down Switzerland's Justine Metro's and French counterpart, were the routing ace Julien Villian, teamwork.net. British co-skipper on Malaysia Sea Explorer Will Harris revealed today that he and Boris Herman had come close to needing to pit stop because of their electronics issues, which left them hand-steering the IMOCA for long periods. We mostly seem to have sorted our autopilot problems, which is good news as we can continue racing without having to stop. We are happy with the way we sailed out of the English Channel, but on the Bay of Biscay we really had to pretty much stop the boat, as we were left to hand steering as the autopilot had stopped communicating with the sensors. So it was good to fix that. We thought it would be easier round Cape Finisterre, which it wasn't. So now it is good to get some quieter weather. We will get a break now for the next 24 hours. It seems everyone is tempted by the south route, maybe especially after all getting our heads bashed in the English Channel. So it looks right now that everyone will go the same way. There is the option maybe for Sharral to jump out to the west, but right now it looks like everyone is going to try and find some trade winds near the Canaries, perhaps. But it has been a really tough few days at the start, and now I think life should get a little easier, and we can put up some bigger sails. During this afternoon, Pip Hare, Medallia, confirmed that she and co-skipper Nick Bubb have started to take their 5-hour start line penalty whilst at the same time trying to repair and reinforce their damaged mainsail. Following a medical problem with Canadian skipper Scott Shawyer, Be Water Positive, confirmed today that they have withdrawn from the race. After returning to their home port, Gosport, where Shawyer received a medical examination. The Canadian skipper is aiming for the 2028 Vendée Globe. Life slowed down too for the Class 40 fleet, which saw the leaders 120 miles west of the most southwesterly tip of Portugal, Cabo St. Vincent. Italian-Spanish duo, Alberto Bona and Pablo Santerd, were back in the lead this afternoon on Ibsa, the Manuard-designed, Mach 40.5 Ibsa, on which the pair won this year's race from Les Sables to the Azores and back. In the Class 40s, Ambrogio Beccaria and Nico Andreou, on Alla Grande Pirelli, lost some miles on their rivals last night and this morning after snaring a fishing net. Beccaria recalled this morning, "Life is hard sometimes. We knew it wasn't going to be a holiday to be here. We had fishing nets in the keel. Then I had a little injury, but nothing serious. It's never easy sailing. There is no wind, but big waves. We are trying to avoid the next no-wind zone. The strategy is to catch the wind. That meant leaving the front as late as possible. The boat behind didn't do too badly either. We will be trying to find a nice route in the high-pressure area, but now it's complicated finding the route to keep up the pressure. The front is still hanging around, but with little activity. In the last few hours, we slept a lot, as yesterday was really, really hard. When there is no wind, you have to maneuver a lot, so we need to get some energy before that today. Brian Thompson and Alistair Richardson are in 14th on Tequila with the young German duo Lennart Berg and Melwin Fink, 2 places, and 5 miles behind them on sign for commander. In the ULTIMs, the leading ULTIM, Armel Leclerc and Seb Joss, on Banque Populaire 11, had a lead of just 40 miles over SVR Lazatigue, François Gabart, and Tom Leperche, with about 150 miles to sail to the long 100 miles wide exclusion zone which keeps the fleet offshore of the fishing traps, fishing boats and oil and gas facilities which lie close to the Brazilian coast. For them, now it is a relatively easy downhill run to the Caribbean. Josse reported from the leading ULTIM, "It's physical and intense. This is the duel we were expecting. Upwind in 15 to 17 knots, they seemed more at ease. Those conditions don't favor us. Apart from that, we have similar potential. Sailing downwind, we found the right way to trim the boat. The adrenaline is keeping us going. A duel like this is not something you get every day. Sailing at 35 to 40 knots, you really need to be vigilant. You don't get much rest. We know each other well enough to know when the other person needs to rest. It may all come down to a jibe. You can easily lose 60 miles. There are a lot of dangers. This is certainly not routine stuff. We can't go straight to the finish, as there is the exclusion zone. In the Ocean 50 race, the leader is still Solid Iris en peloton, Thibaut Vauchel-Camus and Quentin Vlamink, who have extended their margin to nearly 100 miles. Of the 6 starters, Coesio, Erwin Larieux and Audrey Augereau became the third team to retire from the race. They suffered damage to their forward crossbeam. Beccaria, life is hard sometimes. We knew it wasn't going to be a holiday to be here. We had fishing nets in the keel. Then I had a little injury, but nothing serious. It's never easy sailing. There is no wind, but big waves. We are trying to avoid the next no-wind zone. The strategy is to catch the wind. That meant leaving the front as late as possible. The boat behind didn't do too badly either. We will be trying to find a nice route in the high-pressure area, but now it's complicated finding the route to keep up the pressure. The front is still hanging around, but with little activity. In the last few hours, we slept a lot, as yesterday was really, really hard. When there is no wind, you have to maneuver a lot, so we need to get some energy before that today.
Il y a quelques bateaux qui ont eu quelques petits soucis techniques.
Des accros dans la GV et le bateau va repartir.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello à tous de Beyou Environnement. Ça y est, Coco, on est parti. Direction la sortie de la Manche pour l'instant. Bon départ, hein, c'était chaud, tonique, mais écoute, bon départ au frais. Ça va tirer des bords le long de la côte bretonne maintenant et après passage de front pour aller dans le sud. Voilà. Ça devait être un beau départ à voir.
Carrément.
Allez, ciao. Nous on est parti nous.
Ouais. Let's go. Let's go.
Les bateaux ont louvoyé sur la côte nord Bretagne. Ils ont passé le Cotentin et ensuite ils sont allés s'abriter de la mer sur la côte nord Bretagne et aussi chercher une bascule à gauche. Et ensuite ils ont continué vers l'ouest pour aller chercher le front qu'ils ont eu ce matin. Tout ça en passant à l'extérieur du DST de Ouessant. Ce qui s'est plutôt bien passé pour tous les bateaux jusqu'à ce matin où on a vu qu'au passage de front il y a quelques bateaux qui ont eu quelques petits soucis techniques. On voit déjà qu'il y a un petit peu d'écart dans la flotte avec des bateaux qui vont vraiment vite devant, qui ont accéléré après le front et du coup qui ont creusé un peu les écarts. Il y a 4 bateaux qui sont un peu détachés de la flotte. Autrement, on a vu vraiment des super coups, des gens qui revenaient et tout ça. Ça devait vraiment pas être facile. Et voilà, le schéma était plus ou moins connu, mais ça reste des conditions hivernales où il faisait pas chaud. On a vu aussi que ça s'est bien refroidi. Donc ça devait pas être simple, toutes ces manœuvres. Et cette mise en jambe, après aussi le stand-by au Havre ou le non-départ et les quasiment 3 semaines du coup au Havre, ça devait vraiment être long et du coup il faut se réapproprier le bateau rapidement et c'est pas si simple.
Le sport, hein. Sacré mon sport. Enfin, moi j'étais à la barre, c'est Mariana qui a tout fait.
Bon, on a eu un petit souci à la grande voile, donc on est obligé de la faller. Il y a le nerf de chute derrière, c'est un petit ficelle qui tient la voile et empêche de la battre avec le vent cette nuit et demain on ne voulait pas prendre de risque. On a perdu pas mal de milles, donc voilà. On a un peu de boulot, mais on est content d'être parti au large du Cherbourg. Ciao.
Eh ben, on n'a pas une très bonne nouvelle à vous annoncer. On a cassé la baume ce matin, après le virement derrière le front. Pour la voile et derrière, elle est bien cassée en deux.
Tout va bien à bord. Moi j'avais un peu de mal de mer. Sam, pour l'instant, elle sentit un peu, mais un peu mieux que moi. Et là, on commence à descendre vers le sud. Voilà, le bateau va bien, l'équipe va bien. Ciao!
On voit bien, donc plus c'est rouge, plus la mer est forte. Donc là, on voit 3,8 m de mer à cet endroit-là. Une période de 10 secondes, ce qui est quand même assez court comme période entre chaque vague. Et du coup, ça fait que les bateaux tapent beaucoup. Les marins ont dû un peu ralentir pour justement faire en sorte de préserver un peu leur bateau. Ça va être de mieux en mieux pendant quelques heures avant de reforcir et après selon les options, les différentes options qui vont s'ouvrir à eux après le Cap Finistère. On voit que les routes sont assez convergentes jusqu'à l'ouest du Portugal. Et ensuite, ça diverge. Et alors moi, j'ai fait quelques pivots sur mes routages, mais c'est possible que certains bateaux se rapprochent encore plus du Portugal. Donc il y a les bateaux qui vont peut-être continuer au près et passer, je crois que c'est 3 fronts à passer avant de retrouver vraiment le portant sur le dernier tiers du parcours. Et donc c'est une route qui paraît rude, on n'a pas trop envie de la faire, mais en tout cas celle-là est plutôt gagnante pour le moment. Et l'autre route médiane, le risque c'est de se retrouver emprisonné dans l'anticyclone des Açores, entre les Açores et Madère, et avant de retrouver le portant, mais le risque il est de passer un petit peu de temps là. Et la prise de décision, elle devrait avoir lieu demain en fin de journée, je crois, ou demain dans la journée pour les premiers bateaux et peut-être les premiers choix un peu forts de la course.
Tout ne va pas très bien, puisqu'on est en train de, comme on voit sur la carte, de se diriger vers Brest. On a eu quelques petits soucis techniques. On va régler ça.
Ouais, bah ouais.
Ça, tout le monde a le code.
Exact. C'est ça qui est bon. On répare.
Si j'ai bien compris, c'est au niveau des charalettes quand tu prends les riz. Il y a 2 déchirures. Et on va coller des patchs. Eh ben, il y a des accros dans la GV. Et on va aller rejoindre les gars, on va réparer ça là-bas.
Aujourd'hui où?
À Brest. Et le bateau va repartir. Vous allez dire. Je prépare 2-3 trucs. J'ai eu Marco qui est déjà à Brest avec le Zod et les gars. Et du coup, je lui ai demandé ce dont on pourrait avoir besoin et dont on manque. Et je fais 2 petits refresh de matos qui manquent. Et puis après on va partir. Normalement, le dernier info que j'ai eu, c'est une ETA vers 18h à Brest. Bon, c'est surtout le temps du collage parce qu'on va coller des pièces en toile avec du sika. De toute façon, il y a je crois qu'il y a une règle qui fait que si on fait une étape, enfin on s'arrête, on est obligé d'arrêter au moins 4 heures.
Oui.
Donc voilà, ça nous laisse 4 heures pour réparer.
Tu viens toi Alizé?
Comment?
Tu viens ou pas?
Non, du coup je viens pas, Marine elle m'a dit que ça sert à rien et finalement elle a pris un train, donc on va pas.
Non, mais voilà, c'était histoire de savoir. Non mais laisse, nous on va faire. Hein. Reste au chaud, nous on va le faire, t'inquiète, on aime bien la pluie.
Je suis ravie moi Alizé. Mon magnifique jour de congé.
Bonjour à tous, on est vendredi matin à bord de Teamwork. Si j'ai l'air un peu fatigué, c'est normal, le début de course il a été bien engagé, avec un premier front à traverser la première nuit avec 40 nœuds constants et des rafales plus fortes pendant une bonne partie de la nuit. Donc c'était un peu casse-bateau, mais on s'en est plutôt bien sorti et puis on est plutôt content de notre stratégie ensuite en étant resté un petit peu plus haut que la flotte. Donc voilà, plutôt content de notre position, tout va bien à bord, on a pu essayer de bien se reposer cette nuit quand les conditions se sont un peu calmées pour commencer à recharger les batteries parce que ça n'avait pas été très confortable avant ça pour essayer de prendre du repos. Donc voilà, on va profiter des conditions plus calmes qui sont annoncées en fin de journée pour faire un bon contrôle de tout bateau, aller regarder, faire un bon check de l'avant tout à l'arrière, voir s'il n'y a pas trop de choses qui ont bougé parce que ça a bien secoué. Et voilà, à plus tard.
Nice to see some sunshine out here. Last night was brutal and dark and seemed to go on forever. The front was a bit of a nasty one, not massively windy, but the sea state was big and we were absolutely slamming through it. I was physically being lifted off my feet. Whatever I was doing, I was just being thrown into the air and dumped back down again. We had a few casualties down below. So a couple of the bunks where we stack our kits on, the brackets broke. So then there are big heavy boxes of tools all flying around, which is not great. And sadly, my Parrot, the radar display bounced off its bracket and then was swinging round on its cables, punctured Polly, and I think he looks a bit how I feel this morning. But sadly the biggest consequence of that front last night was our mainsail, which ripped at Reef 1. Quite a big rip, which means we can't use the sail other than with 2 reefs or 3 reefs in it. At the moment that's not too bad because it's still quite breezy, but further down the track there's going to be a massive impact. So as ever, we're working with Jacques and the team on the shore to try and work out what a repair looks like, but one thing's for sure, won't be doing any repairing until all of this has just kind of calmed down a bit. It's really tough, and I didn't want to do this update because I just feel like I'm letting everyone down. But you know, I know, we all know that on these races everyone has problems, the whole fleet has had problems, and actually it's how you come back from these things that makes the difference. And I know I've said it before, but it's finding a solution, it's finding a way to move forward, which is what we're good at and it's what we'll do. And part of our race schedule leading up to the Vendée is to kind of learn about these weaknesses, make sure we don't share them, continue with them into the Vendée programme. But it's gutting for me. I feel, yeah, like I'm not doing my job properly at the moment. But I'm very tired and tomorrow's another day, and I'm sure there's always going to be a way to come back fighting, and that's what we'll do.